Hi, this is Kerry Artak with Wicked Stocks, bringing you the daily Tesla report for Wednesday, December 20th, 2023. On with the charts. Start with the big picture as always. We'll work our way into the day itself. The big picture, we've been anticipating this area now for the last month, a little bit more than a month. 255.70 to 262.71, I'm talking about a band of channel resistance on the weekly chart that can absorb buying not only for the week, but also through January and well into the first quarter, really. From here, and I'm not committing to it yet in terms of the numbers, but this trend line that is presently in the very low 180s and dropping weekly, once 262.71 is tested, and assuming it holds to the very tick, then this trend line becomes a channel bottom. Now, what could happen is we could form a high where we are presently and fall away from here. We are in the zone. So then that channel bottom is a little lower because it's based on a trend line across a steeper trend line coming off these highs. I don't want to get too deep into that. I'm just letting you know, this is a long way for me to tell you that we are in a zone of resistance that can contain buying through January. And from here, we could, over the next 3 to 5 months, fall back to the channel bottom that is presently in the lower 180s and dropping weekly. So if you were to prepare yourself for that, whatever that means to you, I don't have any problem with that whatsoever. That is the big picture, sort of 3 to 5 month scenario. I call that near-term investing. So, if you're long Tesla and concerned about the next 3 to 5 months, this could be an area where you step on the sidelines and get out. Or it could be a place where you actually reverse and go short. Perhaps reach for 180 out of the money puts, 170 out of the money puts that don't expire for at least 6 months. I'd probably go a year out on that just to preserve, your delta, reduce the theta time decay element. And that is the big picture. Now, if we're looking at the daily chart, you can see that there's the same area. The numbers are a little different. And we do include at least one of them, 260.56, but I'm going to keep the weekly numbers there. They're a little higher, and they're still equally valid, and they are the area that we need to close above on Friday for a meaningful long-term buy signal, which I'll get to in a moment. But we are presently testing long-term resistance. It's been an objective, really, since the buy signal above the speed line about 5 weeks ago that is well below the market now at 195.46. So on the way down, this is sort of what I would call our 2 to 3 week time horizon and our 3 to 5 week time horizon. In other words, 2 to 3 week swing traders can get short in this zone up to 262.71, anticipating then the low 230s. That could mean buying, 230 or 232 out of the money puts that don't expire for at least a month. Also, I think what's in reach over the next 3 to 5 weeks, by the end of January, let's say, the 210.20 channel bottom. Now that we're testing long-term resistance, you can play the bearish rotation scenario back into the 210s. That could mean reaching for 210 or 215 out of the money puts that don't expire. I would go at least 2 months out on that, maybe 3 months out. I do think that is a 3 to 5 week possibility. We could bounce at 230.50 for a week. Nice rebound perhaps, and then fall away to close below 230.50. Now, of course, the market never behaves exactly as you expect, but these are the structures that I think are the trend-defining elements, both long-term, near-term, and mid-term. Long-term, mid-250s, low 260s, near-term, low 230s, mid-term, low 210s. And if we were to fall into the low 180s, as I mentioned, this channel bottom or soon to be channel bottom, if we pull away from here, then it would be a settlement below 210.20 that would clearly indicate that as a 2 to 3, 3 to 5 week objective where we could bottom out on a quarterly basis. And that is really kind of the big picture. Now, upside, if we do close this week, and this really is a Friday settlement, I mean, a daily settlement certainly above 262.71, even a daily settlement above 260.56 could be reason enough to sort of exit or lighten up on a short position. But it would be a settlement Friday above 262.71. I like the 1% margin. This is a channel top that goes back to July, a 6-month line study. It deserves a 1% violation threshold for what I would consider to be buy signal reliability. So in other words, words, if we close Friday at 265.33 or higher, which is 1% beyond 262.71, then we enter a 3 to 5 month buy signal, where I would expect this 346.49 1-year channel top within probably 3 to 5 months. So just the opposite. You may be exiting a long position, establishing a short position, anywhere from the 2 to 3 week out to the 2 to 3 month time horizon. And if we close above 262.71 this week, Friday, by a 1% margin, then my recommendation would be to liquidate all short positions and play the long side. Near-term traders, 3 to 5 day, 1 to 2 week traders can play the long side up to 278.45, that former 1-year channel bottom that is actually shown here as well on the daily chart. There's also a rising channel top at 274 even, the channel bottom, former channel bottom at 280.70. So, you could use 260.56, but once again, you cannot ignore the weekly numbers. They are the primary resistance. So if we close above 262.71, certainly on Friday, I would expect this as a 1 to 2 week rally into this gradually narrowing zone of resistance that is presently 274 even to 280.70, both rising daily, 274 even, climbing at a steeper pace. And as we move into early January, these two converge entirely in the 290s. And so you can say that if we close above the 262.71 level, we have a 290s 2 to 3 week objective. But as I've already mentioned, I do think over the next 3 to 5 months, if we were to close above 262.71, we can anticipate this 346.49 area. But I'll grant you this, I do think there can be, as I've said over the last week or two, that if we get the buy signal above 262.71, we could have trouble sustaining aggressive gains as we move, say, into February, because in the interim, we could rally within a week or two to 278.45, fall away within a week or two back into the 250s, 260s, rally back. We could fill this widening wedge out for several weeks before I would expect the market to then continue onward and upward on its path 3 to 5 month buy signal of 346.49 if we close Friday above 262.71 by a 1% margin. That pretty much covers the upside. Let's take a look at the downside today. I don't expect to see 239.81, but 246.29 is certainly possible. It can contain intraday selling pressures. All of the minor points have been carefully chosen. 246.29 likely to contain intraday selling. If we break 46.29, we could test 239.81 intraday, but I will say I think it would be a settlement today below 246.29 that would signal then 239.81 tomorrow, where we can bottom out not only for a day but possibly through the rest of the week and round back up. Closing below 239.81 does signal within 1 to 2 days this 230.50 channel bottom. So 1 to 2 week target at 230.50, and if we close below 239.81, that accelerates to within just a day or two, where we could bottom out on a weekly basis and round back up again into the 250s within a week or two of testing 230.50. It's about as simple as that. I hope this all made sense. Hey, please click share, like, share, subscribe, and check out wickedstocks.com. We offer that 5-day free trial. We put out a stock pick on Tuesday for Trade Desk. I don't know if you're familiar with that stock, certainly a large cap stock. Lots going on there. You'll want to see it. You'll see it for free. If you sign up for wickedstocks.com, you get that 5 days and then some. And then some meaning beyond Trade Desk. You don't get beyond 5 days, but you'll see everything that we put out the last few weeks, all of which are still very relevant trade picks. That is all I've got. Hit the 9-minute mark for Wednesday's Tesla. Please click like, share, subscribe, and I will be back tomorrow with Thursday's Tesla report. You have a great day.